What's up? Welcome back to the Reclamation. My name is Malia. I am a trauma-informed somatic guide, and I teach and mentor people through their healing journey using a variety of somatic and neuroplasticity-based tools. Now, as we're establishing in this video series, the journey of our personal reclamation is a whole lot easier and quicker if there's a felt knowledge in our bodies that we are safe. So I created this series to teach you just that, how to feel safe in your bodies and why it is super important now, especially more than ever, and how it can help you to navigate tricky times. This is video number 2 in the series. You can find the first video at the link wherever it pops up here on this page. Make sure you subscribe so this series is easy for you to access, and click that notification bell so you can get notified each time I post a new video. So at this point, we have established a foundation with a sense of direction this series will take to teach you how to find safety in the body. So I'm going to use this sense of direction and build a metaphor with it. Our destination in this series, ultimately, is to be embodied human beings, fully inhabiting and experiencing our body with awareness, presence, and connection. Now, as we go along, we'll understand why that is not the case with most of the human beings walking this planet. Most of us are disembodied. I'm not talking like we have other entities walking around in our bodies. I'm talking like we disassociate and disconnect from our experience because it's painful. Okay, and I understand that it's scary and it's painful to be embodied. And that's why there's this desire to escape, right? So we need deep grounded knowing in our bodies that we are safe in order to remain embodied. We don't want to be here when it feels unsafe. Does that make sense? Okay, so continuing with the metaphor. So remember, the destination is embodiment. The body, our body, is our map, and our compass rose, or you know how maps have keys, that is our ability to know the language our body speaks. So when we can understand those concepts of the key, the language our body speaks, which is different for every map, remember our map is our body, then we can find our way to our destination, which is being able to be an embodied human. So in order to know the language, we have to establish a safe relationship with our bodies based off trust. We need to approach the body in a way that establishes that trust, a way that is gentle and slow, allowing, understanding, curious, non-judgmental, void of shame, all of these things that you might do with your tender heart towards a suffering creature. You would approach it with that gentleness, with that desire to understand, that curiosity of what happened, non-judgmental. So we're going to afford that also to ourselves in our approach to establishing trust. So as I said in the first video, today, in the second video, right here, right now, I'm going to give a tool that will help us to make this approach. And the tool is something that everyone has, costs zero money, and is very easy to access. That's our breath. We're going to do a few exercises building depth and understanding in the breath. It's bottomless pit of possibility that comes with understanding breath and working with breath. These are gentle exercises. We're only going to go to your edge. We're looking to push past any edge. We're not looking to have an outrageous experience here. Remember, we're on approach to building trust. We're on approach to the suffering animal. We're not going to go all force, all in. Okay. So don't worry about that. Sit back, relax, take in some of these tools that will help to begin the establishment of trust between you and your body. Okay. So breath matters beyond keeping us alive. Breath, you can think of it like a bridge between the conscious and the subconscious. Okay. And so if you want to traverse from conscious to subconscious, you're going to cross this bridge. And you cross this bridge using breath. Breath initiates the transfer from conscious to subconscious. Breath is this bridge that's something you can see pretty clearly. So it's not just this metaphor, because breath is always there. It's always working on its own. And at the same time, you can influence it. So, and I'm influencing my breath when I'm directing my breath, I'm in the conscious, but also we understand how it's the subconscious because it works on its own. It just does, is, and moves all by itself. Okay. So some practical thoughts on the breath before we move into the more metaphysical. Breath directly influences your nervous system, and it helps shifts you between fight and flight to rest and digest. Breath is also the only autonomic nervous function, we can consciously direct or control. I like to use the word direct, which means working with breath teaches us that we do have control or the ability to direct over how we feel. And then this is why breathwork is powerful. It's a way to build trust with the body by giving us something tangible. Okay, we can regulate breath. Even when everything else around us feels chaotic, we can regulate breath. And it's this beautiful bridge to the subconscious and also to empowerment, because there's something there that you own that you can direct. Okay, so first exercise. This is beginning to work with our breath, and something maybe you practice for a week or so before you move forward to the next exercise, really understanding that your body is on board. It's noticing your approach. It's seeing somebody who is coming in to the environment that's like, hey, I'm on your side. So our first exercise is we're going to just notice the breath. Okay, so I really love this suffering animal sort of image. And we are that, though. And we are in our suffering. Yes, I am going to stick with that word. I'm not going to shy away from that word. We're in our suffering because we can't even be with ourselves. And that disconnection has severed us from our coherence of spirit, mind, body, energy, soul, all of the things, God. And so it creates this level of suffering. So on approach, we are just going to notice. Suddenly, we're aware of our breath. Okay. And the breath is the tool. The breath is the friend. We're going to notice the breath without judgment. And we're just going to be curious. Okay. So we're approaching this thing as if we are just discovering it. There's no preconceived knowledge about it, and we're just experiencing it and noticing it. So what you're going to do is you're just going to begin to breathe in a fashion that's very aware, intentional, in partnership, just breathing in and out, nothing special, no rhythms, anything like that. Okay, so breathe. You can try breathing out your mouth and in your mouth, in and out your nose, Notice if it feels different to do those things. Notice how shallow am I breathing? How deep am I able to breathe? And there's no right or wrong here. There is no qualification here. It just is. Truly entering that establishes this sense with your body of, oh, someone's on approach, and this someone isn't seeking to define me. They're just noticing me and allowing me to be how I am. It's what we're doing with the breath. Okay? So just sit with yourself. You can set a timer every hour and just shut down whatever you're doing, shut down whatever you're doing and breathe. Notice your breath. Just paying attention. And we're going to get out of the intellectualization of it. We're not trying to label anything. We're like a scientist out in the wild, and we're just taking note, but not labeling. They label the thing when they know what it is. Right now we're taking field notes, okay? When you're breathing, you can notice, what do you feel in your body? Where do you feel breath in your body? When you stop to breathe, is there any shift that happens in your body? Do you feel the breath in your throat? Do you feel the breath in your face cavities, your nasal cavities, up in your sinus areas? Do you feel the breath down in your diaphragm? Does it fill up your lungs, in the back of your lungs, all the way through? Just noticing. You can also notice speed. Am I breathing fast? Am I breathing slow? And notice that when you notice, does it change? Okay, just have fun with it. Experiment with that. The goal is neutral observation. One of the skill sets that you can derive out of this sort of practice, especially if you're working with a practitioner, is learning how body feels rather than emotions, like labels of emotions. So there's a difference there. And it's a tricky change over in our mind to go from I feel angry to I feel tightness in my chest, right? So we're going to change how we speak about what's going on because our noticing will change. Okay, so that's just the first exercise. Noticing without judgment. Take your field notes, put them in your head, and you're noticing, write them down, digest them in whatever way works for you. So when you finish your set amount of time, however long you want to notice your breath, I recommend daily, multiple times a day, even better, especially if you're really wanting to develop this skill quickly. It's like anything else. Basketball player is going to go out and practice basketball for so many hours per day. Often the more time is spent, the better that player gets, quicker. Okay. Same principle applies across almost everything. So when you finish your set amount of time, you're just going to let go and land and finish your noticing. Okay. And this is an important step that will grow as we go along. Something that when you let go, it's very interesting quantum realm experiencing is when I let go, I want to notice that my body returns to a very natural state of its own breathing rhythm. And noticing that can often change that rhythm from being natural to being noticed. Okay. So you can just play with that, have fun with that, and also observe that when you're done. And I'm just going back to my normal breath. What's that like? Your second exercise for working with the breath, after you feel like you've gotten comfortable in just the approach and noticing non-judgmental field notes of the breath, is you're going to begin to direct your breath. Okay, so this is more of like rhythmic breathing and fast, slow, holding it, more of that systematic, controlled breathing, very intentional breathing. So I'm going to give you 3 different types of rhythms, and I'm going to tell you kind of what they do biologically and psychologically at the same time. Here are 3 exercises that you can do within this framework of intentional directed breathing. First, slow, deep breathing. You're going to fill all the caverns as full as you can, and then just let out your breath nice and slow too. It's very interesting. It's like a balloon. The first time you blow that balloon up, it only stretches this far, and then you let that air out. And each time you blow it up, you discover you can stretch it further and further. It's the same concept where when you breathe deeply, and perhaps it's the first time you've breathed deeply in a long time, you will begin to notice that each consecutive breath fills more space within your body. Biologically, this deep, slow breath activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which puts us into this rest and digest state. You hear a lot online about regulating your nervous system, okay? This deep, slow breathing can help bring you into that state. It lowers your cortisol, it reduces your heart rate. It really just brings you into this state. When you release that sound, with that sound, it's so relaxing. So you can give that a try too when you're doing that slow, deep breath. Okay, to take this slow, deep breath into more of a directed state is you can do rhythms, okay, counts. You want to breathe 4 in, hold for 7, exhale for 8. However you want to do those numbers is okay, but ensure that you're exhaling longer than you're inhaling. In that sense, you're really slowing down that exhale and breathing it out slow. And you're showing your body psychologically and biologically how you are able to direct, and if it's a good word for you, control your own breathing in whatever environment you're in. And it can exhale really slowly. So that would look like this. The 4, 7, 8 breathing would look like this. Breathe in. I'm going to breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth. That's something I really like to do. There are different ideas about breathing in through mouth and nose, out through mouth and nose. And I don't think either or is necessarily what you have to do. There is certain types of breathing for certain types of results. But we are in experimentation, and I am doing what I like to do. It feels really good to my body. My results from breathing this way are positive. So this is the way that I like to breathe when I'm just breathing in this practice. So I like to inhale through my nose and exhale through my mouth with that sound. So I'm going to inhale with 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. And what you'll notice when you're in the hold is that hold can start to feel a little tight. And our natural reaction is to go quickly after we hold, like we're gasping out that breath. Is that possible to gasp out? But we are directing our breath to come out slowly and long. And over in that practice really establishes this sense in your body that I got this. I can do something on my own. I have direction and control over myself. It really begins to establish this knowing that I can. Okay. Exercise number 2 within the directed controlled breath framework is short, quick breaths. This activates energy and alertness. It stimulates the sympathetic nervous system and gets us going, gets us moving. Okay. You can see this a lot in people that are getting ready to do anything that takes like courage. Like I imagine bungee jumping in is just like, go. Okay. Some people actually need to bring it down, calm themselves down, slow, deep breaths before they jump. But these are the short, quick breaths to activate energy. This is something that you can use when you're feeling lethargic and you need to overcome that, and or more of the depressive states of being when action is needed. You need to do. And also states of being that are in disassociation. What's a little bit more, it's a little deeper, and that's further down a road. Speaking of disassociation, because you have to understand how that feels in your body first to understand that you're doing it. But this will help to bring you back to, hello, we are alive here, okay? So this is an exercise that is done in breathwork circles. If you've ever attended one, it kind of is at the beginning of breathwork, but I only want you to go to your edge. We're not trying to go past that to push ourselves into any sort of deep experiencing, or like I said before, outrageous experiencing. This is called the breath of fire. Inhale, exhale, in and out of your nose only, quickly. Do it. Do it for as long as you can manage. Some people, well, I don't know anyone who doesn't, get lightheaded. Take it to however your edge is. In breathwork circles, you want to push past that to start getting really into your experiencing. But just these quick breaths, notice how it brings energy to your body. Notice how it brings alertness to your body. Notice how all of a sudden everything's firing and ready to go. Awake. I'm awake. Yes. Hello. I'm awake. Okay. That's number 2. Number 3, breath holds. Okay. This is holding longer than we did in number 1, and it builds our capacity to trust at the edge of discomfort. Okay. So building from 1, 2, and 3, we can see how as we do these exercises, we're building in our capacity altogether to take our body to this space and have it see that we're good. We're in good hands still, that we got this and that we can. Okay, so breath holds. Biologically, it increases the CO2 tolerance in our system, which strengthens the body's ability to handle stress. And then psychologically, it takes the mind to that place of discomfort, that edge, but it's not danger, okay? That we can stay with something difficult and come out okay, just as I said before. We're going to do box breathing with this one. Box breathing is a very good basic way to begin. You'll find it in a lot of places about regulating your nervous system, a lot of therapy circles and coaching circles. Box breathing is pretty standard. So it's a great place to begin. Box breathing is easy to remember. A box is usually associated with 4, like a square. And so you're going to breathe 4 in, get my hands right. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. Okay. And you're going to just repeat that box breathing over and over and over. Maybe when you're beginning, repeat it just 4 times. Stick with your 4s. So it's going to look like this. You're just repeating that. And at the same time, you're applying principles from the first exercise of noticing what's going on with my body, what shifts, what changes. And do that as you try out each of these 3 exercises within the directed breath framework. Okay, and then remember after you practice each of these to come into that let go and land. Let your body return to that natural way of breathing, the natural rhythm that it has currently, and observe. And what's fun here too is as you go along, as you increase your trust within your body and your tolerance for these various levels of discomfort that you'll come up against, you'll notice how your natural normal breathing changes. Okay, the third exercise in breath, working with the breath and building trust with the breath is we're going to take that level of discomfort just a bit further. So make sure you're working with these consecutively so that you can ensure there's some sort of level of trust already built upon before you're like going to really walk the cliff's edge here. Okay. So we're going to be pushing the breath to the edge. We held our breath in box breathing. We held our breath in 4-7-8 breathing, but now we're going to just take it a little bit further. Okay. And this is where breath work becomes really that tool to deepening the trust in the body. You can notice how you can take it further. And it works because the body experiences the discomfort and understands it doesn't mean danger. By staying present with this edge, I'm here, I'm not running away from you, I'm not trying to release you or like relieve you, save you. We're going to be in this together, and we'll notice how we can consciously kind of relax into this. We teach the nervous system that it can expand its capacity for stress. Exercise, 3 types. You can hold your breath just a little longer than is comfortable. You can do this with a stopwatch. All of these exercises, if you have children, siblings, parents, get your parents to do these exercises. You just do them all together. This is a fun one to do with others because it sort of has this competition to it with yourself too. Just time yourself. Time yourself. How long can I hold my breath? I'm just going to hold my breath. And then, great. Now I'm going to hold my breath and I'm going to go a little bit longer. I'm going to push it a little bit past that edge. Okay. And there may be no response here in our mental framework or our physical experiencing that says, like, I'm stressed out in this. But however, you are establishing this relationship with your body, and the body senses, the body knows now that it is safe with you and that it can be taken to an edge and survive. And this is how we are able to come into further reclamation, further healing, further discovery of those pains that we hold inside, because our body is no longer going, get away. I don't want you to see that. It's scary. It's dangerous. It causes me pain. We're not going to go there. It says, oh, here you are. I trust you. And even though I know this is painful, even though I know this is scary, I know that we can do it. And the body will only let us do as much as we can anyway. So the more trust we build, the more we can uncover, discover, heal from, reclaim. That's the whole purpose behind that, establishing the safety in the body. That's my whole desire to teach that. I've seen in my own practice with my own clients, if they do not feel safe in their body, there can be no approach made to those pains, shames, conditionings that they have within them, those experiences, traumas they have within them that are desiring resolve, that are desiring to be seen. We can't access them because there's no safety. I digress. Okay, so holding the breath longer, a little bit longer, a little bit longer. Have fun with that one. The next one is exhaling fully, all the way out, and pausing before the next inhale. So it's like a full emptying of all those cavities that we've been practicing filling up, and your balloon is very stretchy now. Fully exhaling, and then saying, wait, now inhale. Okay, it's really great to do with a partner. I'm going to show you an example. And what's cool here too is you can use this one to help you with the first one, because when we fully exhale and then inhale, we can hold our breath longer. It's a little trick. So next time you're in the pool and you want to do a holding breath contest, do that. Okay, fully exhale. See if you can get to a place where that inhale is taken with a sense of rising to the surface of the water in a way that's just like, we're gonna be the perfume commercial. We're just come out of the water in this way that's just like, rather than, okay? So play with that. Okay, so 3 in this pushing our breath to the limits framework is practicing all of this, practicing directing the breath while we have the stressful thought present, the trigger present. And this is like the cherry on the top here of working with our breath is when we are in trigger, can we step into the practicing that we've been doing? All those free throw shots. It's funny I'm using basketball analogies. I'm not a basketball player. All those free throw shots that we've practiced and now we're in game. Can we make it? Can we make that shot work for us? So you can practice this outside of coming up against an actual trigger or stressful thought in real time, where you are in your practice and you think of something that is stressful to you or that triggers you currently in your life, and you bring it up. And this isn't using your imagination again. I'm bringing it up. Maybe I had this encounter yesterday and it made me feel such a way, and I felt like I was just like out here and just, or just like afraid, or really just taken over by some other force where I felt out of control. I'm going to bring that forward. I'm going to be in it, and I'm going to wait to practice my breath until I'm like feeling that in my body, that rise that comes in my body. Or even maybe it was something that caused a depressive feeling in your body. I'm going to wait till it's there enough that I can begin my practice. And you can just choose of the beautiful rainbow of exercises that have been given to you today and step into practicing it in like game-like situation. Okay. The lessons learned here with using your breath on approach to establishing trust in the body is that your body understands it can handle more than it has been handling. And you can be present with discomfort without panic. You begin to recognize, I have capacity here. And the more I practice, the more my capacity to hold discomfort, to be with discomfort grows. And then breath is proof that you are alive, and it brings you to this moment here now. I'm here, and I can find safety in here. And again, that knowing that we are capable. After all of your practicing, remember to let go and land. This is a very subtle thing that's happening that will be touched on later videos, but it needs to begin to be established now. Is this letting go and landing where you're at, just letting it go back to what it was before you began directing it, and observing what's going on. In closing of this video, your breath is your constant companion. Learning to observe, direct, and push it. It teaches you that your body is trustworthy. You begin to trust what's happening. Not only does your body trust you, but you begin to trust your body. You understand how resilient your body is. Props, hugs, pat on the back. Good for you for taking me along in all of this that you've been through. And you begin to understand how wise your body is, because it will begin to speak to you. This is one of the most powerful ways to build safety in yourself, because no matter where you are or what's happening, you always have your breath. Okay, off you go. Trust your body knows what it needs. Some days, deep, slow breaths feel nourishing. Other days, they might feel agitating. So just listen to what your body needs. It gives signals. If we listen, it will guide us towards what we need. And we will learn more about these signals, more about the language, more about the key to our map in later videos. Experiment with curiosity rather than forcing a technique to work in the same way every single time. Pay attention, notice, and then just move on. Try it out, put it into practice. Let me know how it goes in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, you can email me for details. The link to that is in the show notes. I'll see you in the next video.